everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bing and I love to travel around the world and live life, and today I'm going on a first date, so I thought I'd film a little get ready with me video as I introduce you to what I'm gonna be kind of making a series of story times and I guess travel advice. Right now I'm using the Glossier Priming Moisturizer as my base, and my first part is gonna be about au pairing in Melbourne, which I'm really grateful for my experience, and I loved the city. Australia is such a cool place. Melbourne is such a place of cultural and like historical beauty and significance. But au pairing is a really tough gig. I think that not everybody really gets that, and I think that's something that you really have to experience it to understand. So I wanted to au pair in Australia because I kept meeting people on the trail. So the trail that kind of goes around Southeast Asia. There's not like a set name for it, but it is a important trail. And a lot of people that I met were like, I'm gonna go to Australia. I like really want to like work there and become a permanent resident. A lot of people that I met were like European, Northern European, and they all had this really like serious intention of going to Australia and just moving there permanently. And I knew I didn't want to do that, but I really wanted to go to Australia because I kept meeting people who wanted to go. This concealer is actually too dark for me, but I kind of just worked it out because it was expensive. And I'm like was going through Southeast Asia, and I had to go. I had to go because I kept meeting people. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I did it, and I used a specific au pairing, a couple au pair apps. You can find a lot of apps online or on the app store that help you find families looking for au pairs in any countries. And I've connected with some families. I reached out to some families, and we had like phone calls, and I thought they went really well, and I really needed it. Like I really needed like a place to stay because Australia is it's known for being really expensive. And when you au pair, you get like housing and you can get some meals and stuff, so that was really good. And when I got to Australia, it was actually winter time, and I had just left Jakarta, Indonesia, which is something that I'll be talking about in another video, so stay tuned. And it was so freezing cold, and I had no clothes for it, which was fine, I guess. The first family I au paired for, they were really nice, and the mom gave me some like winter coats and like leggings and stuff, so that was really nice, and I wore them like incredibly. And I au paired in St. Kilda, Melbourne, and it's such a lovely place. It's like by the beach. and there was just so many people that were so kind and chill. Australians are really big, and they're very friendly, they're very polite, which is nice. About au pairing though, I have to be honest, it was a really tough thing for me. I come from like a really small family, so I don't have siblings. I didn't really grow up with family dynamics, but that was a main big thing in these families. So the first family that I au paired for was a family of around, I think, 7. So I'd count grandma, the 2 parents, grandma, 2 parents, oldest daughter, second oldest daughter, and then twins. And I spent most of my time with the twins, which was really nice because they were just chill and we just stayed in a room together and just played. And I didn't even have to change diapers, which was kind of nice. But it was just so hectic, and I don't know if it's like this in all large families, but every single morning it was just screaming children. I did not like that. I even wear earplugs. I mean, you have to when you're hostel hopping, but like I could hear them screaming through the earplugs and just like running around, and it was just so difficult. It was difficult. Dinner time was difficult, and like just doing anything I feel like was difficult. You had to like separate them because you couldn't handle all of them at once. It was just too many children, and it was just such a chaotic like situation. And then I had a second au pair because some complications happened with the first. Nothing bad, but just they thought the grandma would like come and stay there for a bit, and then the grandma even once told me like, at least you get to escape. I was like, oh, yeah. So I found another family in St. Kilda. Well, I was looking at a couple of like families, but I was like, okay, well, St. Kilda's really nice and I don't want to have to travel too far. So I just stayed in St. Kilda, and it was an interesting interview. I didn't expect anything, but like the mom gave off like this vibe of being gentle, like good juju type of woman, and was like, oh, do you want some tea? And oh, what are your values? And I really liked that at first, and I liked the vibes, and there was 5 cats and a dog and 2 children, and it was a family a separated family, children of divorce, and insert the Stefan doorman who high-fives children of divorce here.
Doorman who always high-fives children of divorce.
And that's fine. Like, I knew it. Like, I really just needed a place to live. And I'll do what you need me to do. And eventually, like, when I finally met the kids, like, the veil was lifted. Initially, the children were sick when I met them because it was winter time, which is tough. I didn't experience them at their fullest at first. I spent some time with the grandparents, which was really pleasant. The grandparents were really welcoming and kind. And I don't know, like, I had a good time. That was probably the best time I had with other people in Melbourne, because I didn't meet a lot of people out there. I just wasn't up to the same stuff that I was in Southeast Asia. But we met, and the children, started going to school, and I took them to school. I took care of the dog. I walked the dog all the time. There were like so many cats. They had to do like there were so many places for them to eat that I had to put food out. I had to clean a couple litter boxes. And then I also had to help the lady with her business, and like do a bunch of laundry all the time. I don't know. It was very busy. I don't envy moms. I don't envy people who take care of children, because it's hard. And eventually they went on like vacation, and I had some peace, so I wasn't like woken up with screaming children who were fighting all the time. And I was able to explore the city, which was really fun. Melbourne's a beautiful city. They're really big on art, so that's kind of my thing too. And there's a lot of like good street art and graffiti. Sorry, I have to focus. What else? I mean, it's a really nice city. I like the tram, because you and the locals just hop on the tram. I mean, you pay, but I saw a lot of people not paying, and I believe in free public transportation. And it was really cultural. Like, Melbourne's in such a central location in that region, the like Asia Pacific Oceania. I think that's how you say it, maybe. And yeah, there was just so many nice things to enjoy in the city that I did enjoy while the family was not in the house and they were on vacation. And when they came back and the screaming ensued, and I had to see the mom, who honestly was not very nice to me, I had to see her again. I was like, I'm out. Like, I don't need this anymore. Like, I'm gonna come home. And that was like the end of my year, like, in traveling, my gap year, technically, I guess. Yeah. And I just feel for the children and all of these families. Like, they're not getting enough attention from anybody because it's just impossible. And the attention they do get is kind of backed by levels of aggression, just because there's so much resentment built up. I did not have anything like that, like any sort of inter-family dynamics. I did grow up with like friends that had pretty rough inter-family dynamics, so I'd see it there. But I don't know, it was just too much. It was just too stressful for me. I've heard similarly, like, around that people have poor au pairing experiences, and maybe it's not always the case, but I think it's just the power dynamics of, like, you're a young foreign person in a new country, you don't know anybody, you're here to do a job. It's exhausting, and I don't think people know how to host people. Like, some people are like, they think they're really multicultural, they think they're like, eat, pray, love type of people, but then they don't really get it. And I guess that's how it goes. If you're thinking of like au pairing anywhere, I just would suggest to really get to know the family beforehand. Think about, you know, what situation you're putting yourself in, and if you're able to like handle that. There's a lot of good things too. Like, honestly, like I really enjoyed some of the time that I spent with the children, especially when the parents weren't there. The parents, like, I don't know, I think it triggers something in kids that they are just gonna start fighting. And that's really sad. I honestly think that's really sad, because it shows that there's something ain't right. Just something ain't right.
Something ain't right. You've been acting funny lately.
And that's really sad. But yeah, that's what I would suggest someone to do. And if you go around Melbourne, know that it's quite expensive. That's why a lot of people farm. That's the main thing that I encountered. People like go there and farm. I was one of the other au pairs in the first house had farmed originally, and you're kind of like in the, not, you don't have to be super far out, but you're definitely not in a metropolitan area, and that helps you get a more permanent visa, so you can like live in Australia. I don't know. But some people are up to something. I don't know what all those people are up to. I think I met a lot of people like who were just trying to do something new. Like a lot of young people, especially, you know, I was traveling right after the pandemic, and people really wanted to see the world and to do something new. I do want to reiterate that I am very grateful that I had the opportunity to explore Melbourne. I didn't have the money to go to other cities, but I think it's all right. I wasn't really in the mood anyways. I was so exhausted from like teaching online, which I'll talk about in another video. And I am grateful that people like let me into their homes. I keep messing up my nails. I just painted them. People let me into their homes, and you know, I was fed, and I was housed, and I was able to keep warm, and even like got some more like babysitting opportunities, so I was able to make a little bit of cash. But overall, I just think that it's a really tough gig, and there's like, not all families are peaceful families. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people get that, but I mean, when you're trying to just like live a little life, I think it makes it more difficult. Yeah, I think the good thing about Melbourne is that they spoke English. Yeah, it's expensive to be there, but like the cultural shift back from Southeast Asia to an English-speaking country was a little, I don't know, it's just a little bit relieving that you don't have to work hard to just get through a basic interaction.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
Overall, I really enjoyed my time like in the city while I was exploring, but I did not enjoy au pairing. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe there are also better ways to go about it, and better, you know, people to connect with, but it just wasn't for me at all, and that's okay. We live and we learn. I'm also gonna kind of touch on I spent a day in New Zealand. I like escaped Melbourne and like had a 20 something long hour layover in New Zealand, and I thought it was a very cute, quaint, kind of old-timey but modern business, kind of commercial. It's very small, Auckland, and I really liked how it was also really multicultural. Like there was I could get ramen, I think there was a meat fresh, which is, I think it's Taiwanese, milk tea, boba milk tea place. And there was also like these banners everywhere of their like first people, which I really liked. I'm reading this book. It's called Reppin'. I got it at a work event of the work that I was fired from. And they're really like proud, I'd say, of their first people, and they have them everywhere. And on the Airbus back from the city center to the airport, I met, he approached me and was like, "Oh, where are you going?" And he was like talking in his native language to the bus driver, and they just seemed really friendly. Like everybody was really friendly, and he was like, "Oh, I know, I have a cousin in Oceanside." And I was like, "That's crazy. It's such a small world." I love that for us. So yeah, that was kind of my time au pairing in Australia. I'm not even done. I have one more eyelash. And traveling around New Zealand. Overall, I think it's a really interesting area. I would definitely go back and kind of do it maybe better. I would go back to New Zealand because there's this national park. I completely forget the name, but it's beautiful, and I think it's like in a lake. And I'd want to see that. And if I went back to Australia, I think I'd want to like go out and like actually party, because St. Kilda is like kind of residential these days. And hostels are like 30 US dollars. I think I honestly don't remember. But they were just too much. Like if you're going from like Southeast Asia where hostels are like $7 US a night, it's just way too much. So yeah, I think if I went back, I would go and party, because I know young Australians love to have a good time. And I met so many on the like kind of trail around Southeast Asia, and they're having a really good time, and they're lovely people. And I'd see Sydney, like I think it's like an iconic skyline or whatever it is. So I think, yeah, I'd definitely go back to that area with kind of more awareness and more cash in my pocket. But overall, I think it was still like a really important experience for me, even though I literally could not stand living in the homes. I could not stand it. So yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know if I'm gonna make this like just to get ready with me. I thought I was gonna like do some cooking while I voiced over my experience, but I think the get ready with me is really fun too. I'm gonna like do a little curl in my bang, and I'm gonna do a fit check before I head out, of course. And I'm excited about this first date. We met on Hinge. I'm back on the apps, which, you know, is a hellscape, I think. I don't know if anybody, like, you know, is like dating these days. I don't know what everybody's up to, but dating it's like horrific. It's like the disrespect. That's the point that I wanted to talk about. The disrespect when it comes to dating is like out of control. I don't think people like see each other as humans anymore, and like just like I've been pretty rude too, but the ghosting or just the really impoliteness, and maybe this is like a straight girl, straight man thing. Like I don't know what's going on in like other people's areas. But yeah, I think it's it's pretty tough. So I'm excited. I hope it goes well, and please wish me well. My next video, I plan to be kind of a longer video about teaching English in Southeast Asia and backpacking Southeast Asia on like a negative budget, because I had negative money. But I still had a good time. I learned a lot about the world and myself in the world, and I hope y'all can learn something from my many mistakes and my many lessons too. So yeah, thank you for stopping by and hanging around, and I'll see you next time. Please like and share and subscribe if you have something that you want to talk about or you want to say or you want to see, feel free to leave a comment below. Okay, see ya, bye bye. Got this skirt and food poisoning in Guatemala.